I was watching a dear friend's music video, and like I knew that I knew them from a past life, but I didn't know like why or like much detail. And that's really common for me, is like just to feel first of all that connection, and then to really just feel into it. And it's really funny. It's like as being shown in meditation, it's like quantum entanglement, where you have two it's like two souls, and whenever you connect with someone through space and time in like a major event, then that connection never you can choose to like retain that connection, and it doesn't need to ever break. And so when I was like reconnecting with my friend, it was like I was just reestablishing that link, and it started like this door for me. So I could see first of all that I knew them as like a sage, as a healer. And it was, I don't know the exact time frame, it was a few hundred years ago, perhaps close to 600-700 years ago. And I was a warrior. I have many past life memories and recalls, and I've been like, I have some videos where I've like shared lots of them at the same time. And yeah, and this one, it was like a familiar lifetime to me. So I'd already been connecting into that lifetime previously, and I was like a warrior who, it's really hard to describe. I was like a healer, but also like a psychic warrior. So that meant that I was like physically, I was a sword fighter, but I could also affect people with my my spiritual gifts. And what I was doing was, at the time I was on this like really important mission, and I was carrying, it felt like a great secret. It was like I was being shown as like this weapon of love. It was like this thing that, like this, like this fire in your heart, and like being able to, it was a gift of being able to show this love to others and to activate them, to help them like step into their power, into their gifts. And so I'd been in a battle, like on my mission, on my way, like I was journeying to visit someone else, like carrying this secret in my heart. And I'd been attacked by this. It was, these terms are really funny to me, but it was like shown as like this psychic assassin, and their mission was they would find it very hard to attack and defeat people like me, but what they could do is they specialize instead at wounding you, and they would wound you with something like a bit like a poisoned arrow. In this case, it was like, it reminded me of like a raptor claw, you know, you like see out of Jurassic Park. And so it was like this kind of hooked blade. And so they'd like ambush me as I was running through a forest on the way to my my destination, and they'd just like cut me on my stomach, and then they ran off, and then it took me a while to realize, after I sat down to rest, that this wounding had been poisoned. And very quickly I became like, I was like hallucinating. So I just like sat under this tree, and I just remember like there was this out of body experience. So my soul and my consciousness were like fragmenting and just like spinning around me. So it was like I was looking down at myself, sat at the bottom of this tree, and I could see I was like floating around it in this confusion. Like I didn't really understand what was going on. I didn't have power over my body anymore. And so I didn't really know what to do. And at that moment, so that was like a really crazy night, and I wasn't getting any better, and I was like just gradually, like slowly bleeding. And I'm sure if I'd just been left for a long time, then I would have just bled out. And as the dawn rose, this woman appeared, and she was wearing like a dark cloak. And as she came closer to me, she didn't speak at all until she came very close. And then I could see, like, from her cloak, she pulled out this like small compressed, so it was like a kind of small. I wonder if the closest I can think of it is it looks like I have an obsidian arrowhead in my pocket, which I always carry with me. It's a crystal, and it's quite interesting that this wasn't, so this is the obsidian arrowhead that I have in my pocket, but the compress reminded me of this, and the purpose of what she was doing was very similar to what the obsidian arrowhead is like. And so what she did was she just placed it on my wound, and what it did was it had both a mix of herbs and crystals, like small ground down crystals in it. And when she placed it on me, she spoke this ancient Elvian language. Whilst she wasn't Elvian in that lifetime, she had been taught that ancient magic. So, and I remember the compress being very cold, which was really cool. So, yeah, so she pressed it on me, and she said, if I can remember the words, let me. So, in the full story, I could spend a long time explaining all of this. But actually, what she was doing is she was speaking for quite some time, but I wasn't conscious of all of it, and it was only the very end that I caught, because that was when I became conscious. Like, she'd managed to heal me enough that I was like, my consciousness was coming back together into my body. And the words that she was saying in Elvian were along the lines of Dornia sana tuntia mariata. Dornia samata dunsiapta mariata. And it was like this gathering, like it was this command to gather all of the fragments of your consciousness and bring them back together into one. So that was really beautiful. And then really, as I was still in a recovering state, she just made sure I was well enough to heal. And then she left me, and just wandered off into the woods. And there was something that happened at that moment that she healed me, that she created like this connection with me, and so that happened. It was partly intentional. Like, she saw what I was doing. She totally understood like my mission and what I was doing in that lifetime, and so she had created this connection. And it's kind of like a soul connection. It's like, hello, I'll see you again. And so it did happen again. I did get wounded again. In fact, that happened many times in my life. And she turned up quite a few times, at least 3 in a space of just a few years. And as I got to know her more, I realized that we had shared a previous lifetime together, which is really funny. Like, I'm remembering a past life, and that past life remembering a previous past life, and that was really cool because it was like a connection into a previous Elvian life together when we'd known each other much better. And then, so in this previous life where she'd been healing me, I came to learn. Now, I'm not entirely sure how I found out about it. I think it was like through others, because I'd seen someone had witnessed her healing me like one of the last times that she did it, and they recognized her, and I don't know her name or at the exact point, it was like I see it in the middle to North England about 600-700 years ago. And what I saw was that she actually had like royalty in her blood. She was like a noble woman during the day, and then at nighttime she had this love of going out and helping people. So she would put her black cloak on and head out at nighttime when everyone was sleeping, and she would walk through the very dangerous woods at night and help people that needed help and heal them, which was just a really beautiful, like, unconditional gift to give others. So, and very sadly, after she'd been discovered, she was eventually murdered as for being like a witch. Um, and that was very, very sad. But she, like, it's like her soul knew it, that it didn't matter to her. Like, she still wanted to go through this lifetime of helping others. And it's just this beautiful unconditional love, you know, when your soul knows what's going to happen to you at the end of your life, but and it's a great injustice, but you do it anyway. Like, it's such unconditional love to just go and save others, even though you know at the end that eventually that process would end your own life. Is such an incredible thing. And so yeah, I really want to hold space for that experience, and to thank this beautiful soul so much. And yeah, and thank you for bringing through this and triggering this past life memory recall. It was really incredible. I'd say most of this experience I managed to recall out with meditation. So it was just in this morning, in my morning run out in the darkness. And there was even when I was talking about the bit about quantum entanglements, like two atoms in space and time being linked. When I was thinking about it, I was looking up at the night sky. It's about 5 a.m. So it's pitch black outside, and I could just see like these they looked like little stars, and one like blinked on one side of the sky and blinked on the other. And I was being shown they're like stars, like souls, just become intertwined, and that was, you know, even across great distance. And I thought that was really beautiful to feel. And yeah, I really loved just the experience of being able to allow past life recalls to come through, especially my early awakening around 2017. I would be very dismissive. Like, if something came through, I'd be like, oh, that's interesting emotion. And then I wouldn't really pursue it anymore. I would just like leave it. And so especially if I visit, I get them a lot more intense now that I'm opening up more to it. But when I go to castles, to old homes, towns, forests, anywhere that I've had like a previous life, I'm starting to get like stronger and stronger recalls. And I definitely encourage you, if you ever have some of these experiences, and I've spoken to many people that are like, oh, I feel like I've met someone before, or I've had an experience in that place before. Like, I recognize the physical place I've been to. I would, yeah, just encourage you to really feel into it. And there's nothing dangerous about it. Just my advice is to just connect with your experience. Like, just focus on you, because you can trust yourself. So if you're getting feelings and thoughts and messages, like, just focus in on that part of your experience first of all. And the other advice is, and I think I've done a separate video on this, which is if you have a soul connection with someone, like you feel like a past life connection, it's really helpful to just like, I see it a bit like the internet over space and time. And you wouldn't, you know, it's great that we it's amazing to connect with people, and especially when you feel that love and that love reconnection. However, I would encourage you, if you're connecting with another soul, just to continue to use your discernment like you always would. So it's very easy to like feel again that love that you've had for them in a previous lifetime. But know that whilst their soul could be the same soul in this lifetime, they can be quite a different person. And you know, you might see it in their eyes. They're like, "Oh, I see that you're the same soul," but every incarnation is different. And I've over time, I've met many people. I don't know how many people I've met in this lifetime, like into like about 30 or so, where I have past life reconnections, and many of which I've had, you know, past, you know, family or love relationships. And so I can't marry every person that I've had a past life with. But it is really beautiful to honor like past love. And it's really beautiful to just feel into that reconnection, to honor it, to hold space for it, and just, you just continue to use your own discernment, your own judgment, like what feels right when you're experiencing it again in this lifetime. So yeah, I hope this experience finds you well. It was a real honor sharing it with you. I've got a really busy morning, and doing the work I love to do. So I've got, I'll do a little bit of song mixing, and then I have 3 sessions. I've got a client session in about 20 minutes, helping someone reconnect with their spirit guides. And then I have our group session, for our membership group, which we're doing weekly sessions now. That's at 9 a.m. UK time. And really looking forward to that. We'll probably, depending on who comes along from the group, we'll be doing some dark energy clearing, and helping teach each other that. And then after that, I have another client session. But this time it will be with like another healer. So we're going to do like a healing on each other, half and half, like an energy exchange. So that's really exciting. So yeah, I hope this finds you well, and thank you so much for coming along. I can thank you to Emoji King, to Rachel, and who else was on? Heidi was on briefly. Thank you, Heidi. And also Christine. Thank you. So yeah, I hope you all have a beautiful night and day wherever you are in the world. And please keep in touch. And I'll be back again tomorrow. Sending love from Scotland. I love you.